Okay, so the process of developing a website, I've just sort of listed here the basic steps you'll need to undergo. Firstly is we create a mock-up, usually using a program like Photoshop or Illustrator. I have a separate video series on creating mock-ups, in particular the mock-up that we're actually going to use for this tutorial, and that's this graphic here. So I've got Photoshop open, and you can see the various layers, if you're familiar with Photoshop, that are put together to lay these graphics out. So if you want to, you can go and do the video series on how to create this actual graphic, but for this series I'm going to provide you with the files that you need. So once we have our mock-up created, the second step, just simply we need a folder somewhere on our computer to put all the files that reside in our website. As I covered in the first video, a website is comprised of a number of files, not just a single file. So here we've got a single Photoshop graphic saved as a PSD image, but by the time we transfer this into a website, we're going to be cutting it all up and reassembling it out of multiple files. So we'll cover this in just a tick, but then the next step, once we have a folder to house all our files, is we cut up the mock-up, meaning, once again, go back here, we essentially slice this picture up into lots of smaller images. So we take this logo, we take these two images here, we take the background gradients that you see, and we save all those out as separate images, and then we reassemble those images. And we reassemble using HTML and CSS, the focus of these videos that you're doing now. Okay, so creating a folder on your computer to house your files, we can simply do that through Dreamweaver, and I just want to cover a couple of things here. So if you're not using Dreamweaver, you shouldn't need to worry about this step, but if you are using Dreamweaver, what you need to do is go to your site menu and choose New Site. And we can give it a name, whatever you want to call it, tutorial site. And this is the important thing, we need a local site folder to house everything. I can click on this button here and choose a folder if I've already made one. If you need to make a folder now to store your files, on a Mac computer just click on the new folder button. On a Windows computer I believe the icon's up here, or you can right click and choose new folder from the pop-up menu. But just pick a spot somewhere on your computer, create a new folder for it. So I'll just call mine tutorial site, and then click on choose, and this just tells Dreamweaver where the folder is that is going to have all the files that sit in your website. And as I say, if you're using Dreamweaver, this is quite important. If you're not using Dreamweaver, you do need to create a folder for your files, but you may not need to create a local site folder. It just depends on the program you're using. Have a look around yourself.